What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 3D Arcade for the Week 11 Team Builder in BBR. Unfortunately, if you guys missed last week's video, you got 3, 2, 1, always counting the wrong direction. We are 2 and 8. I would love to not go 2 and 10. We're going to see what we can do about that. This week we are taking on JB Westside and his Las Vegas Cinderaces. Cinder-ace, not totally sure. JB's had a rough season. He's also, I think he's also 2 and 8. He might be 3 and 7 going into this battle. He is a playoff contender from previous seasons that has just struggled with his team this season, similar to how we have. And full disclosure right now, I have played this game already. I did not get a chance to record the team builder ahead of time, so I'm going to be doing that for you now. And if you guys watched MTBA this week, you know I'm actually recording this right after the, you might recognize the shirt. I'm recording it right after that team builder. So we're going to knock it out pretty quick, but we're going to jump right in and go over JB's team. So make sure you guys hit that like button if you're excited to see why I did what I did, and see the game tomorrow. This week, in general, JB has Dragonite, Azelf, Nidoqueen, Zarude, Gardevoir, Frostlass, Aggron, Lapras, Dubwool, Wartortle, and Pikachu. If you guys have been watching MTBA, you know I just got whopped, absolutely mollywopped by a Dubwool, so I am scared of it. We have some good answers for a lot of these teams, but he has a lot of good setup mons. He's got a lot of good options, and he's got way more experience than I do. He's also got some good speed in Azelf. He's got some good speed in Zarude, some good speed in Frostlass, which is scary because it's ice type, and we're not good against ice types. So that's pretty much it. Looking at his type analysis, you know, you can see that fire and ghost and grass and ground and fairy do some good work. So we have some clear Pokemon we might want to bring this week. He does have spikes and stealth rock and toxic spikes. He has spikes on Frostlass, Aggron, Azelf, and Nidoqueen get stealth rocks, and Nidoqueen also gets toxic spikes. He only has 2 clearance mons in Defog on Dragonite and Rapid Spin on Wartortle, so that's something. He's got Heal Bell and Wish on a few Pokemon, but he doesn't tend to look like he, from what I've done in research, it doesn't seem like he uses them a lot. He's got a little bit of priority in mons that are more or less fast anyway, with the exception of Ice Shard on Lapras we want to watch out for. He's got a couple of Baton Pass users in Azelf and Dubwool, Flip Turn on Wartortle, U-Turn in Azelf, Zarude, Volt Switch, Pikachu, that kind of thing. His knockoff users are Azelf, Gardevoir, and Pikachu, so some good options here. He's got a couple of Taunters, by a couple I mean 6 or 7 of them, and he's got Screens and Aurora Veil, so there's just a lot of good stuff going on in this team. We're going to see what we can do to beat it. But jumping right into our team, we're going to start off this week with Jailer, the Klefki. Klefki's coming this week with a little bit of an interesting set. We're actually running it more offensive than I've ever done in this league so far. But we're bringing it Toxic Orb, Prankster. We cannot be toxic by Toxic Orb, which is nice. We're bringing Sunny Day, Dazzling Gleam, Switcheroo, and Defog. So this is going to be our clearance this week. But we also have Switcheroo to Toxic Orb something and hopefully take a Scarf away or something like that from something potentially useful, or a setup mon that we can toxic, and then maybe try to just, you know, let the toxic build, I guess, or force him to switch out to keep it alive and therefore leave the setup behind. We have Sunny Day, so we have a couple of Weather Ballers to make sure that we have some extra fire type moves, because Heatmore is not coming this week. And that's pretty much what we got there. D-Gleam hits Zarude pretty hard, which is nice. Other mons weak to Fairy are going to be Dragonite. That's it. But he doesn't really have Fairy Resist except for Aggron and Nidoqueen, so, you know, we have some decent options here. I was Shookaberry at one point, but then I decided probably not going to be as useful. So we are max HP, max special attack, 4 in special defense, and we are bold, so up in defense. And that is Klefki. Moving on, we're going to go to Sparkplug, the Jolteon, coming this week for the speed. We're bringing the heavy duty boots and the Volt Absorb, because once we get rid of Nidoqueen, we can just kind of Volt Absorb around. Not Volt Absorb around, Volt Switch around. We are max special attack, max speed, timid, with 4 in HP, so that we outspeed everything on his team, barring choice Scarfers. We brought Shadow Ball for coverage, Weather Ball for coverage, and T-Wave for additional speed control. You notice it's not on Klefki this week. So T-Wave is coming. Heavy Duty Boots is going to keep us from taking rocks damage if he gets rocks up, because we do only have Klefki for defog, so it's possible that we get stuck with them. And Nidoqueen's a pretty solid rocker, obviously, threatening out Klefki and Jolteon, and we don't really like rocks this week. So I think they're possible to bring. Weather Ball is going to allow us to hit Zarude, whereas Zarude doesn't really have a lot of good ways to hit us. Fire will also hit Frostlass and Dubwool. That's another reason we wanted some fire moves. And then we've got Electric only hitting Lapras and Wartortle, but it does hit them. And then Ghost is hitting Azelf, Gardevoir, Frostlass, and only resisted by Zarude and immune to Dubwool, obviously, or Double's immune to us. Next up, we are starting our choice scarf squadron. As you might guess from that, we have more than one. Only 2 this week, though. I promise we're not triple scarfing. But we're bringing Kureha, the Glacier with the choice scarf, and Snow Cloak. The ability doesn't really matter on Glacier. We don't have hail. He doesn't have hail. Whatever. We are going to be running max special attack modest with 4 in HP and 252 in speed to be as fast as possible. We are outspeeding most of his Pokemon. I'm not sure where the cutoff is. I believe we outspeed Zarude without a choice scarf, though. We are running Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Shadow Ball, and Weather Ball. We are 4 attacks choice scarf, so ideally we kind of save Jolteon or save Glaceon until the end when it can just come in and click Ice Beam because he does have a massive ice weakness. And then Freeze Dry is there obviously because if he has Mons that are chipped that we don't necessarily need Ice Beam's extra power to kill, we can also click this so that if Lapras and Wartortle are around, we can do a little more damage. So Dragonite obviously 4 times weak to ice. Nidoqueen, Zarude also weak to ice. Lapras and Wartortle also getting hit by Freeze Dry. Our Ghost type coverage we've already talked about. Our Fire type coverage we've already talked about. We can hit a lot of the team with this Pokemon, with the exception that it's got a swap to change its moves. Next up, we are bringing Landorus Therian, Tiger King Landorus Therian with the Choice Scarf as well. Intimidate on this Pokemon to lower some of those attackers. We are bringing Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge, and U-Turn. We are max attack with 252, 4 in HP, and 252 in speed, up speed, so we outspeed everything barring Choice Scarfers. And that's pretty nice. At least I'm pretty darn sure we outspeed everything barring Choice Scarfers. And so he's just got a lot of good coverage moves. Obviously Stab, Earthquake, doing good work against Nidoqueen, Aggron, and Pikachu. What else do we have? We had Knockoff, so I mean Dark types, Azelf and Frostlass, but also just knocking stuff off. Rock type moves, Dragonite is weak, Frostlass is weak, and Lapras is weak, which is nice. And then U-Turn actually, believe it or not, hits Azelf and Zarude. Zarude's quad weak to it, so there's about a 50-50 roll that a non-defensive Zarude goes down to just a U-Turn, so that's pretty nice, and therefore I think I'm leading, because I think he brings Zarude and leads it. And if he doesn't even have a good way to hit me, really. I mean, he does, but like with the speed, unless he's Scarf, you know, we'll figure it out. Next up, we're bringing Pompadour, the Skunk Tank. Skunk Tank's coming this week with the Expert Belt and the Stench ability. We're going to be going for those lynches. We are bringing Sucker Punch, Flamethrower, Play Rough, and Taunt. Taunt's going to try to help us with those setup mons a little bit. Play Rough is going to allow us to have a... I ended up having to drop my poison move, but it is one way to hit Zarude. It also hits Dragonite. Flamethrower also hits Zarude and all those other mons that don't like fire moves. Sucker Punch for the priority, and also some mons that don't like dark moves, and it's Stab. We got 180 in attack, 100 in special attack, 228 in speed, and we are up speed, down special defense. Because we're not taking a lot of hits anyway. If we are, they're probably physical, and we wanted to be quick. So that's it, and the Expert Belt just gives us that little bit of extra damage. Next up, and last but not least, we're bringing Goomby the Goodra again this week with Choice Specs and Sap Sipper. We're bringing Draco Meteor Surf, Flamethrower, and Ice Beam. Looking to do some big damage. We are modest max special attack, max defense, as well as 4 in speed, so we are slow, but we take some hits okay, and we get to drop a Draco on lots of things. He does have a fairy type, if I recall correctly, and that is Gardevoir. So Gardevoir doesn't do a lot offensively, but I do think that it might get Ice Beam, but I know it gets Icy Wind, which is still nice for it. And it is a Draco Meteor resist or immunity, so he might bring it. Surf for some water type coverage, Flamethrower for the fire type coverage, Ice for the same reasons we talked about. Those sorts of things. So hopefully Goomby can put in some work. Hopefully he keeps his choice specs this week, unlike last week. And we're going to see if we can pick up a win. And if not, we have one more chance against the Phalanx de Guadalajara against Sir Jorge the Great next week. So let me know what you guys think of the team. Let me know if you guys are excited for the battle tomorrow. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you later. Peace.